No DQ Galaxy. We are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for December 4th, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. I appreciate your viewership and support. Let's get started with this Raw recap. We opened up the show with Drew McIntyre. He cut a promo. He took a little shot at CM Punk, saying that you can get fired, you can get released from the company, come back years later and be instantly forgiven. Crowd chanted CM Punk in response. McIntyre said that Jey Uso's time is coming, and then McIntyre brought up his opponent, Sami Zayn, and that's when Zayn came out to the ring. Zayn said he wanted to hear from McIntyre face to face. McIntyre said that they are nothing alike. Sami Zayn was the one person that deserved to be screwed by the bloodline. According to McIntyre, Zayn joined the bloodline because he was running away from Drew McIntyre every week, and then Sami Zayn ended up screwing the bloodline, and McIntyre said, what was Sami Zayn thinking was going to happen? Zayn responded by saying he's not a delusional person, unlike McIntyre, said that he stayed hungry when he lost in Montreal and then emerged victorious at WrestleMania, got his redemption, and questioned if Drew McIntyre is making his family proud. Sami Zayn made his family proud at WrestleMania, but what about McIntyre? McIntyre had enough, and he called out a referee. We got a match between these guys. Very good match between these two. Lengthy match, and this was a theme of Raw. As far as the quality of the matches and the matches given a lot of time, this was one of the better Raws of the year, and we'll talk more about the matches here in a few minutes. This one, very good. McIntyre had the early momentum, and then when Sami Zayn started to get the upper hand, he hurt his leg. McIntyre was targeting the leg. Sami Zayn stayed in the fight as only he can. They brawled on the outside of the ring. Zayn was thrown over the announce table. Then Zayn kept fighting back. He made a comeback. He had a sunset flip power bomb out of the corner. Could not hit the Blue Thunder Bomb. And McIntyre took him down with a Glasgow kiss. But then Zayn was able to counter the Claymore. He hit the Blue Thunder Bomb and got the win. No, he didn't. Of course, McIntyre kicked out of the Blue Thunder Bomb, and then Zayn's leg gave out on him. McIntyre was like a shark that smelled blood. They had a great camera shot of him, by the way. McIntyre coming to the ring like a lion, ready to deliver the final kill to his prey. McIntyre came in, went after the back of the leg, which the crowd booed. So McIntyre getting the heel heat. McIntyre picked up the win with the Claymore. Rage of Wrestling, Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, so I guess Drew's new gimmick is the truth shall set you free. You need to go one-on-one with Ron Killings to say that. It's gimmick infringement, LOL. Well, maybe R-Truth will confront him about that, although even R-Truth might be smart enough to not poke the bear because Drew McIntyre might just rip his head off, and R-Truth is better off messing around with Judgment Day for now. And thank you, Walter, and yes, feeling better. I appreciate it. We had a Jey Uso video package, and he talked about getting another chance at the world title after losing at SummerSlam. He said he's starving and he's ready to eat. most notable thing about this was in the video, Yeet, the t-shirt, was blurred out. And apparently WWE ran into some trademark issues and they're no longer going to sell merchandise. There's still merchandise available as of Monday night, but I'm not sure if those orders will go through. But apparently WWE is no longer going to acknowledge Yeet on television, which kind of sucks, but you know, the fans are going to chant it anyway, so it is what it is. We had Drew McIntyre attacking Sami Zayn backstage, even though he won the match. McIntyre still upset about the family comment that Sami made. And the officials had to come in and get McIntyre away. So the viciousness of Drew McIntyre continues. Then we had Shayna Baszler cutting a promo talking about how she put Nia Jax on the shelf 2 years ago and she'll do it again. We had Nia Jax interrupting a Becky Lynch backstage promo, and Becky said she still owes Nia a receipt from 2018 when Becky got busted up. We had Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax, and it was a pretty solid match. I fully expected Nia to win this one. They're not really pushing Shayna Baszler, but it was competitive. Shayna was working over the arm. Nia Jax, though, very powerful. And Nia came off the apron with a leg drop. Nia worked over Shayna for a while. Shayna started to make a comeback, hit multiple kicks, but then Nia bum rushed her, did her running senton. Shayna was able to kick out of that, and then Nia went for the Annihilator, but Shayna caught her, gave her a German suplex out of the corner, which was pretty cool. She applied the Kirifuda clutch, but Nia powered out of it again with the power, and then finally got the win with the Annihilator. After the match was over, Becky Lynch ran down to the ring and Nia Jax retreated. So again, it was pretty obvious that Nia was winning this, especially when they're continuing to tease Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax. Not sure if we're getting Nia versus Rhea at the Royal Rumble or Becky Lynch versus Nia Jax at the Royal Rumble, but yeah, Nia Jax is going to be around for a while, like her or not. Next up, we had DIY versus Imperium in a 2 out of 3 falls match. Now, before the match, there was a little pre-match confrontation. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell got a little cameo. Kaiser warned Vinci to not mess things up. First fall went to Imperium. As typical in these types of matches, the heels get the first fall. Gargano and Ciampa went for the meeting in the middle, but Vinci pulled out Gargano, and then Kaiser rolled up Ciampa, grabbing the tights for leverage, and got the win. And I agree, TJS, DIY still needs some new music. I 100% agree on that. And second fall went to DIY. Ciampa prevented a double team, and Gargano, this time it was Gargano rolling up Vinci to get the win. And then for the third fall, it was back and forth, and Imperium tried to repeat what they did with the roll-up, but it did not work this time. DIY picked up the victory with the meeting in the middle, pinning Kaiser. Very good match here. I think DIY needed the win better or more than Imperium. Keep in mind, they're doing the storyline where Gunther is not pleased with Kaiser and Vinci, and there's potentially going to be some fireworks with them. DIY, I think, very much needed this win. And I think what they really need is their old music back. But very good match here with these guys. Nice showing for DIY to build them up. They definitely need to build some momentum to get the crowd behind them. And this was effective. We had the tag team champions, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, confronting Natalya and Tegan Nox. And they were taunting Tegan. And Natalya said after they win, they're coming for the tag team titles. And we also had a segment, before we had the tag match, we had a segment with New Day giving some love to the Creed brothers, and Alpha Academy came in. Maxine Dupree was doing squats with Tozawa on her shoulders, a little bit of comedy. And speaking of comedy, we got R-Truth backstage once again acting like he's part of Judgment Day, and Damian Priest is not amused. And JD was telling him to get out of the locker room or out of their quarters. Damian Priest then gave a pep talk to the duo of Dominic and JD, told them to handle the Creed brothers. And at one point he mentioned that Rhea Ripley was not there, and the crowd heavily booed that. They were not happy about Rhea Ripley not being on the show. Next up, we had Kayden Carter and Katana chants against Tegan Nox and Natalya. WWE swerved me a little bit because we had that backstage segment, which led me to believe that Tegan Nox and Natalya were going to pick up the win here. We had the champs out there on commentary. Natalya was showing off her strength, and Tegan got in some offense. But then Chance and Carter were able to gain the upper hand. Natalya powerbombed both of them out of the corner, but then Chance and Carter recovered. They double-teamed Natalya, and they pinned her. Little surprised here. Carter and Chance pick up the victory. Chelsea Green got on the apron, and she was knocked off. So there you go. Chance and Carter now get the opportunity for the championships. We had Cody Rhodes come into the ring for a promo, and he said he was terrified as a kid of the Great Muta and the Poison Mist. Cody said he should have been paying attention to Nakamura's clues and said that Nakamura has his attention now. He called out Nakamura, the lights dimmed, and we got another Nakamura video package. Said that they actually have similar paths in WWE. They both won the Royal Rumble, but then lost their championship opportunity at WrestleMania. Nakamura has awoken. He said he's going to unburden Cody by taking the story off of Cody's hands and saying that he's going to end Cody's story and he's going to finish his own story. Cody responded by saying that if Nakamura believes they are the same, prove it. Very good segment here, and I really liked the Nakamura promo. They're doing a great job here with Nakamura, letting him speak in Japanese, and I like bringing up how both of them won the Rumble and lost WrestleMania. Nakamura is going to finish his story and take Cody's away. Well done here, in my opinion. Very good segment here, and they're having their match next week, by the way, in Cleveland. No CM Punk on this show, but he will be on SmackDown and he will be on Raw next week. More on Punk here in just a moment. Hamp Connell sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Hamp. Says, today in history, 2006, less than 24 hours after December to Dismember, Paul Heyman exits WWE due to creative differences over the new ECW. That December to Dismember was one of the all-time worst pay-per-view events ever from any wrestling company. And yeah, it was bad enough that WWE and Paul Heyman had a falling out. Heyman would not return for like 6 years until Brock Lesnar came back, and then Heyman became the advocate for Brock Lesnar. Crazy time that December to Dismember. What a disaster. We had Gunther meeting backstage with Adam Pearce, but we didn't really get to hear what their convo was. And yes, as Michael Wayne pointed out, CM Punk will be on next week's show in Cleveland, same city where Punk walked out. He was supposed to be on Raw in Cleveland. He walked out. And same city and venue where CM Punk had his first UFC fight and he got his ass kicked. I was there for that. I was at the Gund Arena, whatever they're calling it now. And CM Punk lost to Mickey Gall, I think his name was. Yeah, I traveled to Cleveland, Ohio, just to see CM Punk lose in 2 minutes. Was what it was. But yeah, that's Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland and CM Punk have a bit of an interesting history. Next match we had was the Creed brothers versus Dominic and JD McDonagh. Creed brothers, #1 contenders, and just a showcase match for them here, but really solid. Creed's got to show off a lot. Julius was on fire here. He was getting a hot tag and suplexing everybody. Kip up, suplex, kip up, suplex. Crowd popped big for him. I mean, this was a great showing for him. R-Truth came down to ringside to try and be a cheerleader for Judgment Day. Judgment Day did get the upper hand for a while. But then Dominic knocked Brutus off the apron, and then JD McDonagh hit a Dragon Rana to Julius. Dominic with the 619 to Julius, but Julius kicked out. And then Brutus got Dominic out of the equation, knocked him over the announce table, and then Brutus got the win with the Brutus ball, pinning JD McDonagh to score the victory. Creed brothers looking very strong heading into their tag team title match. Backstage, we had Adam Pearce talking to Seth Rollins, the world champion, and bringing up how he wants to sign CM Punk to an exclusive contract. CM Punk, like Randy Orton was a free agent. CM Punk also a free agent for the moment. We'll see where he goes. He's going to be on SmackDown. He'll be on Raw next week. Seth Rollins didn't want to hear it. He did not care. He said that at some point, Punk is going to show his true colors. He wanted to talk about Jey Uso. We had a little backstage confrontation between Jey and Rollins. And then we had our main event of the evening. Crowd was saying yeet a lot, but like I mentioned earlier, it doesn't look like WWE is going to acknowledge it anymore because they're not going to deal with the trademark issues. Early near falls. They had a stare down. We had multiple commercial breaks. This match got a lot of time here. It was back and forth, and I feel like the crowd was more into Jey than Seth Rollins. And at one point, they were chanting CM Punk at Seth Rollins, like whenever he would get on the offense. So it's brewing, guys. It's definitely building up here. And they were fighting on the outside for a bit. And Rollins came off the top with a frog splash. Jey kicked out. Jey hit his big Uso splash, but Rollins kicked out. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." Rollins did the superplex Falcon Arrow combo. And then a pedigree, kick out. Jey stayed in it. Jey avoided the stomp, hit a spear. Rollins kicked out. Rollins hit a buckle bomb. And then Jey had a rush of adrenaline, came back with a spear, got up top for another splash. But once again, Rollins kicked out. The fans were really buying the end of this, thinking that maybe Jey Uso could pull it off. And I'm thinking, you know what? This is a hell of a match, but we're going to get that run in. somebody's going to interfere. We're going to have some kind of shenanigans, but Jey went for a third spear, but got caught with the pedigree, and then Rollins hit the stomp and got the 1-2-3 victory. Clean win over Jey Uso. And then after the match, we got the angle. Drew McIntyre attacked Jey with the Claymore. Rollins tried to help, but he got taken out. And then Drew McIntyre put Jey Uso through the announce table to wrap up the show. And like I said earlier, from a wrestling perspective, this was one of the best Raws of the year. Storyline development was solid, not anything too significant, but almost felt like a mini pay-per-view. Like it was very AEW-like in the sense that every match got time, and not a bad match on the show. Like every match, I feel like everybody got a chance to shine. So yeah, it was very different from the Vince McMahon era of WWE, where you would get shorter matches and then tons of interference. And the interference was really minimalized on this show, like very little outside interference and a lot of clean finishes. So yeah, very strong Raw overall, very much like a mini pay-per-view. And they did build up to some things. We had a little bit of teases here and there. So I'm giving the show a B+. Very good Raw. Going to be hard to top this week from the other shows, but for a 3-hour show, it was good quality with the wrestling, and I like the fact that they did the world title match with a clean finish. I was pleasantly surprised with that because I was expecting some outside interference and shenanigans, but they actually just did a straight up world title match, clean finish, really good stuff here. So check out Raw if you missed it, especially the main event. Definitely worth your time checking out. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. I appreciate your viewership and support. And again, if you enjoyed the video, please spread the word. Tell a friend. Dwayne Atkinson sent in a $2 super chat, says, I'm going to the Rumble. We'll have fun with that. Royal Rumble in Florida. Should be a hell of a show. And we'll see what happens with CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar will probably be back for that. It's going to be a star-studded Rumble. Enjoy that, Dwayne. And Attitude Era Mark with a $2 super chat says, another boring Raw. Thought Triple H was going to save us. I mean, it's December, so I give Triple H credit for going out there and letting these guys wrestle. And you know what? It's a lame duck period. So if you wanted a heavy storyline show with a lot of things happening, then yeah, this probably was not the Raw for you. But I think for what they did a very good job of it. They built up some of these characters. Julius Creed looked good, and you had a solid main event here that elevates the world title. You built up DIY. Like they did an effective job of elevating the guys that they're pushing, and even the people that lost got a chance to shine on this show. Was it the best storyline driven show ever? Definitely not. But I thought that they executed the show very well, what they were aiming for. So take care, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you all so much again. I'll be back Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern to discuss the No DQ year-end awards. Live stream Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Tune in for that. Vote. Year-end award polls are up on the site right now. Go vote at NoDQ.com. Say yeah to NoDQ.com. And I will see you all next time.